Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have the founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have the founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. Let's go ahead and open up that waiting room and let people in. Yes, this is a live show. So if you're watching on any of the platforms, whether you're watching the live stream or the replay, you are welcome to join us here live in the Zoom room by going to zoom.dailywithdoc.com. Again, zoom.dailywithdoc.com, all together right there in that URL address bar. It will bring you right to the Zoom meeting. Now, folks, if you're here live with us and you have questions in regards to what we are talking about today, as we do have the one and only Dr. Joel Wallach, make sure that you raise your hand early. That way we know how many hands and questions we have, so we can allow time to give answers. And if you are on any of the platforms watching the live stream or the replay and you have questions, if there's a way to leave a comment, go ahead and do so. You can also submit questions by sending an email to questions@dailywithdoc.com. Now, this is a resource for an amazing community, and we want to make sure that we maintain the integrity of that community. So if you are here or sending us a question, especially if you're sending us an email with a question, let us know who referred you so we know who to thank. And as you are listening and you have questions and somebody did refer you, they are going to be your point of contact. So reach back to them, tell them thank you for sharing this show with you, and then ask them how you too can get your hands on a better health journey. So my name is Becca Dukes. I am the Director of Student Services for the Institute of Holistic Health. I am also the Becca in the Daily with Doc and Becca. And it is my honor and privilege to be able to bring to you empowering information that as you help yourself and your family and then the communities, and each and every one of us are doing the same, we are able to help the whole world find a better health journey. Because folks, we are not chemical deficient with over 600 different poor health symptoms directly linked to nutritional deficiencies. I think there's something we can do all on our own without having to have expensive pharmaceuticals or procedures. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. So as we are working with individuals, a lot of times we have, oh, I've got pain in my knees. I'm looking at having knee surgery. I just want to fix my knees to see if I don't have to have knee surgery. Well, the body is a whole. And Dr. Wallach is going to be talking about the importance of nutriting the body as a whole with the secret sauce for the knees or whatever else that ails you in today's program of Daily with Doc, because there is a huge connection with how our body functions, the symptoms that we have, and the digestive system. So I have with us the one and only Dr. Joel Wallach. Now, Dr. Wallach has been studying nutrition and the effects of not enough nutrition for many, many years. In fact, he is so confident in his findings as a pathologist with over he's done like almost 30,000 autopsies on over 452 species, including humans, folks, and it's comparative pathology. So he's taking a deep look at what is there, what isn't there as far as nutrition goes in the tissues, what discomforts, diseases, symptoms are occurring, what was the cause of death, and he's connecting the dots. And he's done that for us. In fact, his first publication, or maybe his second publication actually, is held as a national treasure in the Smithsonian Museum. And that is this big bad boy. Diseases of Exotic Animals, Medical and Surgical Management. Now, yes, this is a textbook that is used for veterinarians, as he started out as a veterinarian. After working his way through the pathology lab, getting a Bachelor of Science in agriculture in both plant and soil studies, he went on to become a doctor of veterinary medicine, working his way, like I said, through the pathology lab. And his research and his findings got him to be invited as a pathologist on some really spectacular expeditions, including saving the white rhino in South Africa, where he was working with Merlin Perkins before going to Africa, but in the zoos and working with animals, and then went to South Africa, where they were able to go from less than 300 white rhinos in the South Africa area, doing conservation work, to now having over 15,000 rhinos existing today because of the work that Dr. Wallach did. Now, he didn't want to stop at just saving animals, folks, as he also went to work for the Yerkes Primate Center, where they have the monkeys that they train and they use for NASA. He found the first non-human case of cystic fibrosis in a Rhesus monkey. Not only did he find that the first non-human case, he also proved that it was not genetic, which is really good news for us, folks. He also found what the cause was. And when you know the cause of something, you know how to correct it. So we're going to bring Dr. Wallach on because that was just the beginning. He then became recognized for his research in the nutritional element of selenium. Yes, selenium is needed in trace amounts, folks, because he discovered that it was the leading cause of sudden infant death syndrome, the leading cause of heart disease, a leading cause of even some most common, that C word that we always dread. So without further ado, Dr. Joel Wallach, thank you so much for being on with us today. I just appreciate all that you have in your mind. What you have in your mind, there's no way I could possibly learn and retain. So we appreciate the fact that you come on with us here on Daily with Doc and share information every Wednesday, every Thursday. And today, Dr. Wallach, and I know that you've heard this before, as I've heard your lectures, somebody will say, oh, well, I've got pain here. And then you start asking them off the wall questions that don't even seem related, but you know for a fact that they are. So, Doc, the scenario here, we've got an individual, in the 70s, and they're bone to bone in their knees. They're wanting to know, is it possible just to address the knees and not have to or avoid surgery, but not want to work on anything else? So what is your response to that?
Well, the response is, well, yeah, it's one of those things where I've learned through all this stuff that we went through over the years that you have to treat the body as a whole. You can't just treat the symptom. If you treat the symptom, it's very easy. You take an aspirin, you get rid of pain, but you didn't solve the problem. Okay. I can take an aspirin and drop my temperature. Okay. But that didn't solve the problem. It's one of those things where you have to know a bigger picture. And I have, I think it's now more than 25 best-selling books. There's the one in the Smithsonian Institute, the Disease of Exotic Animals. Very proud of that. Very, very proud of that. Kind of shocked me. That was my second book. The first book was the Rhino Express, because I learned how to save the white rhino. That book was my first book. So there you go, the Rhino Express. Thank you. And so the best-selling book I have, and of course, this is, people are buying them by the case. Yeah, dead doctors don't lie. They're buying them by the case because they get a nice, big, low price. Then they sell them at the retail price. And then in many cases, they give them away, to their families and to their professors and to their neighbors and their pastors and so forth. And so I have about 25 people right here in San Diego that buy a case every month of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. We've sold over 347 million copies of this book. It's like crazy, okay? But it's saved millions of people. So we're very, very proud of the work that's been done and how people have received it. Thank you. We also have, right now we have Halloween coming up, okay? And Halloween, people bang on your door and they want some candy or something like that. And so instead of giving them candy alone, we're going to give them, okay, one of these,
Your educational brochure.
Yeah, educational brochures that has most of my books in there. Gives you a couple of paragraphs on each book, tells you what's in it, how much it costs. If you buy 10, you get a big discount. Then on the back cover, goes into some of, not all of, but some of my CDs and DVDs and so forth. And so those are on there. Okay, thank you. And so this is what we're going to be giving out. We're also going to give out with the chart for what's in the books, because we want them to join the Young program. We're going to be giving them one of these rebound sticks and teach them how to use a stick, tear it off and pour it into a bottle of water. And you get something that looks like this, okay? And this is one of those sticks, comes 30 in a box. And it's one of those things where you give them this stick, boy, they're going to feel good. If they take it that night, they won't go to sleep. Okay. And it's one of those things we actually made the rebound for Theo Ratliff, a great basketball player who lost his position because he had a double knee problem, a hip problem, and they wanted to do knee surgery and hip replacement. Well, he wouldn't be able to get his job back. So he said, no, I'll pass on the surgery. And I came up with the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack. Now, how to do that? We took the Healthy Start Pack, which is our first 90 program. It had the 90 essential nutrients in the Healthy Start Pack. Then I made the glucogel, which was the stuff that the cartilage was made out of. Okay. Glucogel. There you go. And added that to the Healthy Start Pack and it became the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack for Theo Ratliff. And then he was complaining about not enough energy. So he came up with this, which is loaded with, I don't know, every vitamin you can name, every mineral you can name, like 85 minerals in here, plus all the vitamins and amino acids. It's really a great energy thing. So even though they fired him, 3 months later, he went back because he was feeling so good and he passed all their tests. He got his job back. And over a period of 9 years, he made $134 million in contracts. 134. Yeah, that was a gob. Okay. And so he has been faithful in sharing all this information with all the other basketball players and stars and football players and stars and so forth, baseball players and stars. It's one of those things where we have actually saved the professional athletes, okay, professional sports industry was saved by the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack and Rebound. So we're very, very proud of that. And we have actually, over the years, we have saved millions of lives because we're rebuilding their joints, we're rebuilding their blood vessels. And, you know, a lot of people, they get problems in their knees and they have osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, and it's being squeezed in the skull, and they feel it in their knees, or they'll feel it in their toes. They'll amputate their toes and give them knee replacements. They still have the pain because it wasn't there, it was up here. And of course, that's my favorite picture in my book, It's All in Your Head, which is only 30 pages. Boy, I talk about a bestseller. People are buying cases of those and giving them away at Halloween.
This book right here, Doc.
There you go. Go to page 6, if you would, and show the picture. The top one is a normal skull. It's 1/4 inch thick. They cut the top of the skull off so you can look at the brain. The bottom one, they cut the top of the skull off and looking down at the brain. And it's 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick because they got osteoporosis of the skull. And squeezing the 12 pairs of cranial nerve and the spinal cord. So flip the page again. Okay, there you go. It's a picture of the brain and the 12 on one side of the brain, there's 12 on the other side. But you see each of the cranial nerves is going to a place in the body, the heart, the bones, the teeth, the brain, the eyes, and so forth. And so that's when we came up with the I-26 to rebuild the myelin, the white matter of the brain, and also the healthy bone and joint pack, and rebuilt the skull. It shrank back down to normal size, took the pressure off those nerves. And all these things go away in weeks and months, whereas doctors say, well, there's nothing we can do about it. It's genetic. We can only relieve some symptoms. That's all nonsense. It's not true, not even close to true. So they're still talking as if they were in 200 years ago, okay? It's a beginning of time almost.
So, Dr. Wallach, you're talking about osteoporosis of the skull.
Yes.
Are you saying that osteoporosis is not just in joints or just in the bone?
Well, osteoporosis afflicts all bones, the long part of the femur, the long part of the humerus in the arms. When you have osteoporosis, the entire bone is losing minerals. Okay. And it gets thicker, not because of more minerals, it gets thicker because of connective tissue, scar tissue. It begins to squeeze the bone marrow cavity where the white blood cells, the platelets are made. If I nick myself shaving, I'll be bleeding all day. If I fall down and skin my knee, I can't stop the bleeding. That's because they have osteoporosis of the skull. Okay, they also have osteoporosis squeezing the bone marrow, so it cannot make platelets and red blood cells and all that kind of stuff. So these things are very, very simple, but doctors like to make them very, very complex and complicated, so the patient likes to go to them. At the turn of the century.
Before you go to the turn of the century, Doc, I would just want to touch on something. So if the bone marrow is not able to make the platelets and the red blood cells, that's a cause of anemia.
That's correct? Anemia, that's right.
So not only are bones important for the mobility, but also for our blood.
Yeah, cardiovascular system, including blood, red blood cells. If you have sickle cell anemia, that's because you're deficient in certain nutrients. And so instead of being a nice little round flat disc, the cell red blood cell looks like a quarter moon. Okay, that gives you a clue. Boy, this person really has osteoporosis of the skull bad. Okay, squeezing all the nerves going down, but also the blood vessels and the bone marrow cavity are being squeezed, and it's just scar tissue instead of functional tissue.
So tell us, how does that relate to the digestive system? How does our digestive system affect our bones and our blood?
Okay, well, our digestive system, of course, has many, many functions. One is absorption. The food has to be digested to get small enough particles so you can absorb through the membranes of the intestine and some parts of the stomach. And then also, when it comes down to digestion, the stomach has to produce stomach acid and all that kind of stuff to help break down food and so on, and enzymes coming from the pancreas and liver and all that kind of stuff. Which they say, liver, the pancreas, the stomach, the intestines are all part of the digestive system. Okay. And in some ways, distantly, but in some ways, even distantly, the kidneys are involved because of blood circulation and so forth. And so this is why we came up with the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. It makes blood pressure go down. It gets blood flowing through blocked arteries because you have blocked arteries. And of course, the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets help that. And then, of course, we have something to make the heart happy, CardioFX. Okay. The heart is very happy with the CardioFX, Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. And so it's one of those things where we step by step, we figure out, well, what was blocking the progress to make the patient healthy and happy and live longer? Oh, so we came up with something for that. We called them secret sauces because we didn't want somebody to take just the secret sauce, because if they took the secret sauce, you might get rid of some symptoms, but the greater picture wasn't dealt with. And so you take the secret sauce with a basic program. You take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, you take the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack. Okay. And you do that. You will then be able to, for instance, if you have some energy issues, you go with the Rebound. That's one of our products. Okay.
Now, Doc, you had mentioned acid in the stomach. Now, a lot of people suffer from quote unquote acid reflux. Is that because they're getting too much acid? You just said we needed acid.
You need the stomach acid to digest food because the acid breaks down the food into smaller particles so the digestive enzymes can deal with it, and you can absorb the smaller particles, not the bigger particles. But when it comes down to the digestive enzyme, the stomach produces some, the stomach acid, You have the pancreas that comes up with digestive enzymes. It's a system. Okay, that's how important it is. There's a whole system the good Lord gave us to make sure that no matter where we're getting our food, we're going to get the maximum benefit from the food we're getting. Okay, and of course, there were areas where people lived a long time. This was a land flowing with milk and honey. People lived a long time. They didn't live that long everywhere, but there were certain areas. That's because the glaciers were grinding up the rocks on top of the mountains. The mountains were made out of rocks, and the rock dust, when they were ground up, is white, got into the streams coming down the side of the mountains. And from a half a mile away and a mile away, people looking at the mountain, they could see that white stream coming down the side of the mountain, and it looked like milk. And these are where the people live the longest. Now, there's places where you can get glacial milk that only has 3 minerals in it, because that's how many minerals are in that mountain. And then you get places where there's 25 minerals, 50 minerals, 75 minerals, 100 minerals. Well, the places that have 75 minerals and more, okay, and they're getting glacial milk from those areas, guess what? They're using it in their foods for spices. They're using it in their drinking water, making their beer and wine and all that kind of stuff, taking their showers, irrigating their soil. But these, you have to appreciate that we need to make sure we're getting everything we need. And so the people who were living where the land flowed with milk and honey, they were getting the nutrients that made everything work for their digestive system, their cardiovascular system, their pulmonary system, their brain. And don't forget, there's one place where the doctors have been guilty. I can't say that enough. They're telling people to stay away from cholesterol. Cholesterol is your best friend. Cholesterol is your best friend. 85% of the myelin, the white matter of the brain and spinal cord, is cholesterol. Okay.
Say that again, doctor. Say that again.
85% of the white matter of your brain, the myelin, is cholesterol. If you take away somebody's cholesterol and they give them pills to destroy the cholesterol in their diet, guess what? They're going to be in trouble. They're going to get a problem with something going on with
cognitive issues, neurological issues. I mean, there's so many different things.
Yeah, exactly. And so then, of course, they also, even equally as bad, because it's bad to not be able to walk and talk and remember your name and so forth, get kicked out of school because you don't remember what chair you're supposed to be sitting in and that kind of stuff. Can't answer the can't answer the teacher's questions. They kick you out of school, okay, because you have no more white matter of the brain and spinal cord. Well, guess what? The same thing that is required to make myelin, cholesterol, makes sex hormones. That's why we came out with the what for women, it's
Xerafem for women, Xeratest for men.
Xeratest for men. I take 3 of those twice a day. Yahoo. Okay. I take the Xeratest, and even though I'm 85 years old, I can still function as a viable male, which is because of the and the Xeratest and the Xerafem are like 95% cholesterol.
Well, they I know that they support the different functions within the body, which is fantastic because everything's connected, right, Doc?
Everything's connected by circulation, nerves, and chemistry. For instance, the same thing that causes you to have pain in your disc between your vertebrae, your bones in your knees, you're walking bent over all the time, your neck hurts, and so forth. And the doctors want to do surgery and give you artificial disc and fuse your joints together. Don't do it. Give us 90 days. Give us 90 days. And we have saved so many people, millions of people, from unnecessary surgeries, places which many die from the surgery because they don't have all the functions necessary to deal with all those chemicals the doctors are giving them during the surgeries.
So if they've got a lot of stuff going on in the body, then the body itself, even if they do the surgery, the tissue may not be strong enough to bounce back, and their recovery time is very long or
Not at
very
all.
poor.
You
Not
die.
at all.
Yeah. Well,
So
the people who really got excited about this were people like Pat Boone, very famous movie actor and comedian and public entertainer,
Stinger.
singer. Yeah, Pat Boone. And he's one of our most of all the famous people we had. He was really on it. He just turned 90 a couple of weeks ago, I think. And then Danny Glover. He's also in the book Wallach Revolution. Pat Boone wrote the foreword for the book, The Wallach Revolution, and Danny Glover wrote chapters at the end. Okay, because we worked together for over 30 years. Okay, going out to ranches where they had people who they were working with business-wise who had health problems, or family had health problems, or neighbors had health problems, or animals had health problems. We worked together, me and Pat Boone and me and Danny Glover, and the three of us together. We solved a lot of problems. So I can't thank those guys and gals enough. Okay, and this book is available because it goes into, I don't know, it's got more than a dozen chapters, 13, 15.
So it's what it is, folks, is it's called the Wallach Revolution, a war on conventional medicine. It is the authorized biography of a medical genius, which is Dr. Wallach. So this is going to give you a lot of history of what he has learned, what he went through, what he fought for, and continues to fight, including the people that he has been able to help. So the Wallach Revolution is a great book to have on hand. This was only been made as the official biography of Dr. Wallach for the last 3 years. So in its most recent edition, it was then became the authorized instead of unauthorized biography. Epigenetics.
Yeah. Well, this is a new science. It's replacing the science of genetics because we proved that there are no genetically transmitted diseases. It's over 500 pages. It covers a lot of territory. It covers diseases the doctors haven't heard of. Okay. In this book, every family should have one. Okay. When it comes to the Wallach Revolution, you might want to get the 10, get the discount. When you buy 10, you get a discount off the retail price. And if we have holidays coming up, the holidays are coming up, you want to be giving something, give something that's going to add 25 healthful years to somebody's life. Give them a present of epigenetics, the Wallach Revolution, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Don't forget, as a side gift, metabolic syndrome. Okay. It's all in your head, which Rebecca's already shown you. Okay. It's one of those things where the information is there. Tonight is Halloween. I'm giving away
Tomorrow. Yeah, so tomorrow you said you're going to be giving away your informational brochure and a rebound. And I would say, because they usually go trick-or-treating at night, save it for the next day. Okay, kids, save it for the next day. Well, Dr. Wallach, we do have hands up, so I want to make sure that we leave time to get all the questions in, as we do have several. And the first question that we're going to go to, and folks, just a reminder, if somebody shared this program with you, get back with them and tell them thank you. Thank you for sharing this information with you, and ask them how you also can find a better health journey. If you are here live with us, make sure that you have the chat open. As questions are being asked, our amazing Marilyn is going to be doing dictation. I think Phyllis helps with this as well. Into the chat, sharing what Dr. Wallach's recommendation is for the individual and the symptoms that they are experiencing. Now, our products are not meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease, folks. But when you give the body what it needs, those raw ingredients in a quality form that are synergistically blended together, which through Dr. Wallach's work in pathology, he figured out what's needed and what the quantity that's needed. So with his program, we are intentionally giving the body what it is starving for so that it can function better. And that includes your pre and probiotics and the enzymes to help break down food. So first question goes to TC. TC, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Oh, my question is about, well, I want to ask about the OsteoFX and the BTT. I was wondering if the OsteoFX could be, if longevity could actually make that in a gel cap. My mother, she takes them. She's 95 years old. I talked to her about her before. She says they're too sweet, and I was wondering if.
Well, we have another one. If you're looking for, calcium, okay.
Yeah.
The Cal Toddy. Cal Toddy is very pleasant. That's for our biggest seller of a calcium product.
Okay.
Okay. And of course,
could that be taken instead of the OsteoFX?
Either way, either one works.
Okay. And the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the tablets, I know you said don't have the same kind of nutrients as the powder, but I was wondering if she could take that instead.
Well, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is a big multiple. Okay.
Okay.
It has more than just one mineral in it, whereas Cal Toddy is primarily for calcium. Okay.
No, I mean the tablets, the BTT tablets.
Yeah, I take the BTT tablets. If you look at my kitchen table, I've got over 50 bottles of different products on my table. I take 3 of each of those twice a day. Of those 50 products. 50 products I take twice a day. I'm 85 years old. Most people think I'm in my 50s. Okay. And so it's one of those things where do you put dust from Texas in your car's gas tank, or do you put gasoline in there?
Okay.
So you got to treat yourself as well as you're treating your car.
Okay. Now, also, I wanted to ask you, because I asked you a while back if you had a meal bar, like a meal replacement. I took the TMR, but that kind of is weight loss, and I'm 130 pounds, and I'd rather not lose weight. So I know you had anything like, and I was also wondering if longevity could actually make meals based on those recipes you have in the Cooking Without the Bad Foods book, and fortify the meals with the nutrients and vacuum seal them. I was wondering why you went the supplement route rather than the meal, food marketing.
Okay, stop. Okay. Basically, stop. Right. Basically, we make supplements. We have Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, the Healthy Start Pack, the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, and those are our basic programs. And then we have all these other products to add to it. We call them secret sauces. We call them secret sauces because what happens is if people know what the secret sauce is for, say, a kidney issue, they'll just take that kidney issue product and then they'll die of a heart attack because they just treated their kidneys. You have to treat the whole body. If you're missing something for one tissue, one cell type, one organ, one system, you're missing stuff everywhere. And so you have to take one of the basic programs to cover everything, has more than 90 essential nutrients in them, okay? And then you can take a secret sauce for arthritis. You can take a secret sauce for high blood pressure. You take a secret sauce for diabetes. You take a secret sauce for memory loss. You take a secret sauce for constipation. You take a secret sauce for diarrhea, all that kind of stuff, okay? But you don't take them by themselves. That's where doctors say, oh, you have pain in your knee, take some aspirin. That's not going to get rid of diabetes. That's not going to get rid of heart disease. That's not going to get rid of osteoporosis. It'll help relieve pain for a couple of hours. But then you'll be walking down the street and you'll get a fracture and fall down and break your neck. Okay? You have to treat the whole system properly. And that's why you have gauges, okay, on your car's front panel. Okay? You got gauges for everything, your temperature for your engine, your oil level, your gas level, and so forth. It's all where you can see it when you start the car, so that you're not caught dry eyes because you didn't know something was going on in there. Or you were missing something that should have been in there. Okay, we don't have that for human beings. But that's why we have the flip chart, the book. Okay, that's why we have the Wallach Revolution. That's why we have Dead Doctors Don't Lie. That's why we have the epigenetics. That's why we have It's All in Your Head. We have these books that teach you how to look at the whole person. And if you have something going on in your toes and your knees, and doctors want to do surgery there or give you some medication to relieve pain, you need a bigger picture, because it could be osteoporosis of the skull squeezing that 10th cranial nerve, causing the discomfort in your knees. There's really nothing wrong with your knees. Okay, so if you take something for your knees, it's not going to really help you.
But Dr. Wallach, if they have x-rays showing that the cartilage is missing, is it possible to give the body what it needs to be able to, I don't know, regrow that cartilage?
Oh yeah, we can regrow cartilage. You take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, okay? You take the, let's see here, you take the Cal Toddy, okay? And you take the, what?
The glucogel?
Yeah, I take the glucogel.
And the
of those
MSM
today,
Ultra?
okay? And kind of go that direction. And then you can use CM cream on top of the knees for relieving pain. You don't need surgery. Relieve pain.
Well, and you could even add clary sage, as clary sage has been known to help the absorption
Sure.
of like calcium.
Yeah, well, some of these herbs, we have all kinds of herbal programs. Okay. And so
We've got the tinctures, we've got the essential oils. You can add them into the CM cream, make a turbo cream, shake it up so that you're getting more benefit than just the pain relief, which pain relief in itself is fantastic. But when you can augment it a little bit for even more power, I absolutely love that. And Doc, if I can just add in here, the Osteo FX that comes in the Brain and Heart Pack is a powder. You can actually get gelatin capsules, the size that are convenient for whoever's needing to swallow them. And as long as you're doing a whole scoop per 100 pounds and putting it into those capsules, you can actually make your own capsules. Now, the OsteoFX does come in a liquid where it's just 2 tablespoons per 100 pounds. You're done. The same with the Cal Toddy. It's a liquid concentrate, 2 tablespoons per 100 pounds. You're done. And there was something else that TC had mentioned that I wanted to touch on. So whenever you do have bone issues, Dr. Wallach, you can take the OsteoFX and the Cal Toddy for extra structure support, extra skeletal support, correct?
Yeah, and the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, okay? The Healthy Start Pack with the glucogel, okay? And that covers the waterfront. And of course, the CM cream will help relieve pain and inflammation as you're healing, okay? And so this is a complete program. This is a complete program. And this is something where we have CDs. We've got over 100 CDs and DVDs and that kind of stuff. We've got another one coming out here pretty soon. We kind of finished up today. This is going to be a big deal, this new CD coming out.
Awesome. Well, and there was another thing that I wanted to mention is he had mentioned about meal bars and that the shakes are primarily weight loss. Not necessarily. So depending on the individual's needs, I love the meal replacement shakes because they do offer nutrition and minerals and vitamins, those things that, and it can be drank with a meal, even if it's a small meal, to make sure that you're getting that extra nutrition, including the protein that the body needs. So the cookbook is Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. We haven't mentioned this one in a while, Doc, but this is a cookbook that has been written by Chef Norman, and it applies all of the bad foods. Well, it avoids, I should say, but it applies Dr. Wallach's good foods, bad foods list in every recipe, leaving out the bad foods and giving you recipes, even some of those feel good comfort foods without any of the bad foods. So Dr. Wallach.
Yeah, just remember everybody, holidays are coming. You want to give gifts of love. Okay. And so that cookbook is a good one. It's just that cookbook. And one of these other health books like the Wallach Revolution, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, Epigenetics, It's All in Your Head. Give a book along with that cookbook. And it just depends on how many people you have in the family, how many kids you have. And, I've got 4 kids, so I have to make sure that everybody gets enough of everything. And so it's one of those things where this is not difficult. You just have to apply yourself just a little bit, and you will prevail. You will be benefiting your family, your neighbors, your church mates, your pastors. Again, the holidays are coming. Don't just take somebody out for one meal. You can take them out for the meal, but give them something else. Okay. Like the healthy bone.
Something that's going to be lasting.
Yeah. Give them something that will be lasting, to take it every day for the rest of their life. And you'll add 25 to 50 years. Just think about that. Doctors can't add 25 to 50 years to people's lives because they depend on drugs to relieve symptoms. They're not in the business of getting rid of the disease. They're in the business of relieving symptoms and making the patient happy.
That's right. That's right. And folks, you can find the Good Foods, Bad Foods list on dailywithdoc.com. Again, the Good Foods, Bad Foods list can be found in the menu option right there. It says Dr. Wallach's Good Foods, Bad Foods list. So you can find that list there. Dr. Wallach, we have Marilyn with her hand up. Marilyn, go ahead and unmute yourself. What question do you have for Dr. Wallach today?
Okay. Dr. Wallach, you have the book, It's All in Your Head, which, of course, you always say osteoporosis of the skull. Now, you addressed today that osteoporosis involves the entire skeletal structure, the bones. Is there a reason you called it It's All in Your Head and not It's All in Your Skeletal System or your bones?
Well, then the impact of that knowledge would be lost in the volume. Okay. And so it's not unusual, when you look at books for fixing cars, they have an engine fixing book, they have a transmission fixing book, they have a tire replacement book, fuel book. The same thing here. It's people need to be thinking, because doctors don't get schooled. I'll repeat that. Doctors don't get schooled on osteoporosis of the skull. They know nothing about osteoporosis of the skull. Now, you'd think that it's so important to the body. Just think about that. They are not taught this, osteoporosis of the skull. They're taught that there's 12 pairs of cranial nerves, the spinal cord all coming out of the brain, and then that's all they talk about, okay? They don't talk about the skull impacting those 12 cranial nerves, 12 pairs of cranial nerves, and the spinal cord. We're talking over 50 different diseases you can get from osteoporosis of the skull. You'll be going to 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 different specialists. You'll have all these surgeries, amputate your feet and so forth. You're still having what you perceive of, I'm having pain surgery in my feet, but they amputated my feet. How can I have brain surgery? How can I have brain pain in my feet? Okay, I have pain in my feet, but my feet are gone.
So it helps people focus more on and be able to identify clearly what really osteoporosis is. It's more clearly because the nerves are being pinched.
Yeah, and that way people are going to, so why didn't my doctor tell me this? Well, I'm sure your doctor's a very nice person. I'm sure they're an honest person, but this is not taught in school. Osteoporosis of the skull is not taught in school. Call your doctor up and say, I need just 2 or 3 minutes with you. I have a question. Okay. And so they're on there and you say, well, how many diseases are caused by osteoporosis of the skull? They'll laugh and say, who told you that? There's no diseases caused by osteoporosis of the skull. You forget it. And you have another question? because they don't get taught anything about osteoporosis of the skull.
Okay, I just had a new client, and she was trying to say, oh, it's just in the skull, Dr. Wallach said. And I tried to say it's actually not in just one local area. So you would agree with me with that?
Yeah, when you have osteoporosis of the skull, you got osteoporosis everywhere, but certain symptoms are a giveaway for having osteoporosis of the skull. Okay, because you have all this stuff going on in your toe, your big toe. Why would your big toe hurt? Take an x-ray, there's nothing wrong down there. Osteoporosis of the skull, that 10th cranial nerve, that vagus nerve goes all the way down to the big toes. Okay, from your brain. And so it's being squeezed up there. And you show them that picture on page 6 of that book, It's All in Your Head. That freaks everybody out when I show them that picture. And so I had to have that picture because they don't understand it if you don't show them the picture. Okay, the holes are this diameter, okay, when they're normal in the skull. And then when you have osteoporosis of the skull, they're the diameter of the ink.
The tip.
The ink interior, okay, of this pen. There's an ink thing down there. It's only like 1 millimeter thick. Okay. This is 4 or 5 millimeters thick. It goes from this to this when you have osteoporosis of the skull. And that's why those nerves start having all these problems.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
You bet.
All right. Great question, Marilyn. Thank you so much for that. Now, Dr. Wallach, out on YouTube, we have a question coming in. It's in regards to Barrett's esophagus, which is a condition in which the flat pink lining of the swallowing tube that connects the mouth and to the stomach, which is the esophagus, this thing right here, becomes damaged by acid reflux, which we mentioned just a few moments ago, which causes the lining to thicken and become red. Dr. Wallach, what would be an answer? Because this is a risk factor of some serious conditions, and the individual is wanting to know what they can do to keep from having to have those horrible conditions.
Okay, they need to get rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no brown oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet one's got to go. Then they need to take 1 healthy brain and heart pack per 100 pounds of body weight. If they weigh 135 pounds or less, so just get 1 per month. Take a half a dose of everything twice a day. If they weigh more than 135 pounds, they need at least 2 of the healthy brain and heart packs a month, a full dose of breakfast, full dose of dinner time. And then they should have the, see here, the, I'd go with the I-26 for the brain and the spinal cord, because the brain, again, the nerves control the throat and swallowing and the esophagus and your stomach and everything. Your brain controls all that, okay? And here's where you need to do a little bit of investigation, find out what's going on, look in that book, It's All in Your Head, say, oh, he's got 3 of these symptoms here that has to deal with osteoporosis of the skull. Okay, so you know what to do now. And don't forget the digestion stuff, okay? And we have all kinds of digestive pills and tablets and capsules and so forth. All right. And then Digestive, this is a good one. Okay.
Oh, the Digestive-X?
Digestive-X, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where I take a lot of that stuff. I take over 50 different products twice a day. Okay.
So with that being said, Dr. Wallach, Nancy has an interesting statement here in the chat. She says, if you'd like to know, I challenge the statement. It's not difficult. I've been short of a follower. But now that I have started with heart issues, I am trying to do all of it. I have found it very confusing, difficult, time consuming, as well as expensive. I've been doing it for 3 months, and it has been worth all the hassle. Thank you so very much, Dr. Wallach. So
Thank you for sharing that story. What's her name again?
this is Nancy. So
Okay.
thank you so much, Nancy, for sharing.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And of course, we have millions of stories like this. You know, we're in over 80 countries, and it's one of those things where people who have that experience, they tell their relatives, they tell their neighbors, they tell their church mates, they tell their workmates, and so forth. They say, "Well, boy, you're looking good. What's going on?" Well, did you find a new doctor? No, I have this supplement program that actually gives my brain and my throat and my stomach and my intestines what they need to function properly, and my bones and joints and kidneys and heart and lungs. Everything's working now because I gave it all the stuff that I wasn't getting in my food. Because if you live in a place that doesn't have the nutrients in the soil, the plants only need 3 minerals. We need 60. So you can have a beautiful looking tomato. It only has 3 minerals in it. Or you can have a beautiful looking tomato and it has 60 minerals in it. Which one do you want? You want 60 minerals in your tomatoes or 3?
60, please.
And there you go.
Well, Dr. Wallach, let's go over to a gentleman who has been sharing this message with everyone he knows, and it shows. Let's go over to Zach. Go ahead and unmute yourself. What question do you have for Dr. Wallach today, Zach?
Well, I have an update. I know Dr. Wallach loves updates.
Yes, he
Yoli,
does.
we called regarding Yoli, a cyst 9 centimeters. You gave her the protocol. He followed it, but in results, she saved getting the hysterectomy. They only removed the ovary and the cyst. It's powerful. And it did shrink. It shrank. It's powerful, Dr. Wallach. You don't only add 20 to 50 likes to our lives. You help us confront fears. You helped her confront a fear. They told her it was cancerous. They told her that she should have a complete hysterectomy. After listening to you, it's how much you empower us, Dr. Wallach. You give us valor to speak up.
Well, thank you for sharing that information. And of course, this story is one of millions of stories we have every day, literally, okay, around the world. We cannot thank you for sharing your story, your family's story. It's one of those things where you should get excited because this is all the good Lord stuff. We'll give the good Lord all the credit. We just have to listen to him, okay? And when you listen to him and do everything that's right, and then since we don't all live in the land flowing with milk and honey, we have to provide ourselves with all these things that we know we need. Just like you have to provide your car with everything you know it needs. You can't just throw a handful of dirt in there and expect everything's going to work, okay? It's be more holistic, more scientific.
Intentional.
There you go. More responsible.
Yes. Well,
And-
Dr. Wallach, did you have something else, Zach?
Yeah, Dr. Wallach, I just want to say they pressured her, 2 surgeons, that she should have it removed. But with your great information on the book, the confidence, we were able to talk with a surgeon who has 30 years of experience, and he listened. So not only did you give her confidence, you told us how we should bring this and respect the wishes of the patient, treat the patient. The doctor listened. And it's all because of what we learn from what you share, and you give us confidence. So thank you. This touches home. Obviously, you can tell, but even you didn't only make her happy. You've helped us make a lot of other people who surround her happy, and we will continue to spread this word. That's why you hear the passion in my voice. Because what I've seen, I'm not a doctor, obviously, but what I've seen you do with the formulas, it just blows my mind.
Okay, well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
sharing.
Dr. Wallach. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you, thank you. You're an angel of God doing what you did, and the next step was sharing it with others. We cannot thank you enough, because that gives confidence to people that they can be helped with these issues. If you stick on the tracks that the good Lord gave us, we're going to get benefit. If you get off the tracks, go in opposite direction, you're going to have a struggle. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Jack.
Yes, and thank you. I think that's a great place to end, Dr. Wallach. It gave me the chills. And I love hearing stories like that over and over, where people are investing in themselves, giving their bodies the opportunity to be able to fight and thrive. Well, Dr. Wallach had mentioned how, people are able to share the message. And not only are you able to share the message and help people, but you can also get a thank you check for doing that. And the people that are going to be coming up right now on the screen with me, our co-hosts, are people who have signed up and said, I want to be part of the solution as well. I want to be on this crusade, this journey with Dr. Wallach and helping others. And they are absolutely doing that through this program and also on their own efforts. As we can't do this program by ourselves, Doc. You couldn't lead a crusade, just a one-man.
No, we need an army. We're getting
Field, can you?
and I thank each who are on our program, part of our team. And we love you and we respect you. And we cannot thank you enough for helping so many people. God bless.
Yes, God bless. And we've got a whole waiting room. They're not in the waiting room now, but we got a whole meeting, Dr. Wallach, with clients and coaches. So folks, if you heard something that touches you or you think you may be impacted by some of the things that you heard today, especially conditions that have been able to be helped through the intentional nutrition, make sure that you get back with the person that shared this program with you. And if there is no one to thank, we have a call team that's almost 24 hours around the clock, 7 days a week at 855-949-3377. Again, that's for people that have not ordered or are not referred to this program by somebody specific. That individual is the one that you want to get back with. Now, today with us, we have Albert, who's joining us from South Africa. Love that green shirt, Albert. Stands out nicely with Marty's background, as he is helping people get into the room, which if you couldn't get in, you wouldn't be able to see the amazing chat that Phyllis and Ruth Ellen, Ruth Ellen's next on the screen, but Phyllis and Marilyn are doing, as they are both beautiful, wonderful individuals in and out with the skill of being able to type as fast as Dr. Wallach speaks. Faster, actually. But I thank both of these ladies for all that they do and sharing. And, my heart, I have a special place in my heart for Phyllis, because if it wasn't for her and her husband's efforts in getting Dr. Wallach on the radio in the beginning, I would not have heard him. And that is what changed my life. So I just have special thanks for all my team. But thank you, Phyllis, and give Andy a hug for me. And we have Ruth Ellen, who is my executive production manager, who is helping to make sure everything rolls smoothly, including the stream that's going out to the different platforms. So thank you so much for all that you do, Ruth Ellen, in keeping that rolling. And we have Sherry, who's also part of our tech crew team and getting everything set up for the live stream. And AJ, who helps with that setup as well and has been very instrumental in helping me open up the accounts so that we can stream to so many different locations. So folks, if you've got a talent, if you've got a skill, if you've got a heart for others, and you want to be part of something bigger than you yourself, that is a company that has quality products that are solutions. It's not just take one of this, one of that, and hope something happens, folks. It's you take the longevity products and you take them as recommended, you're going to get results. Give us at least 90 days and be part of the solution. We even have a coaching course that is available through the Institute of Holistic Health that teaches all Dr. Wallach's philosophies and goes beyond just the health and the supplementation, but also into the other 7 areas of having complete wellness to thrive. You can get more information about that by going to coach.dailywithdoc.com. Again, that's coach.dailywithdoc.com. And if you want to save some money on it, make sure that you give my call team a call, as we do have a special discount code just for our listeners. And for those who are here because of somebody specific, get back with them and say, hey, do you know any information about this coaching program and how I can get started? Because chances are they do, and they have their own special link for you to be able to enroll with. Folks, thank you so much for joining us and taking this hour and investing into you, the most important person in this room. Bye for now. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have the founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have the founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.